The number 3 reservoir, with an average depth of 10 feet, is 12 acres in size. And if you take the 2 and 3 together, there are probably at least 15 30s between them. If the great carp god in the sky smiles upon you, the result could be spectacular, as these 520s caught in 3 hours of fishing portrays. The West Warwick was built in 1897 and is 34 acres in size, with an average depth of 19 feet. There are at least a dozen 30s, although that could be a conservative figure. It also contains big pike, bream and roach, but nobody seems to target them, so they're just waiting to be caught by the specimen hunter with an eye for a change of species. So as you can see, the reservoir complex contains not just large carp, which makes it one of the leading carp fisheries in the country, but plenty of specimen fish of other species. It's true that due to cormorant predation, the numbers of small fish have diminished, but for the specimen hunter and those prepared to put in the time, the rewards are there. I asked Dave Coster, well-known columnist for the Angler's Mail, top matchman and North London tackle dealer, how he rated the reservoirs.
Well, I think they offer some of the best bream fishing in the country. I know they're already highly rated as a carp fishery, but the bream fishing is largely forgotten by most anglers when they think of Walthamstow. I've certainly had my best ever bream there, and I've also had some very big catches of bream. The best so far is 10.5 pounds, but I know there's much bigger fish than that in there. I feel you've got to be very neat and tidy with your fishing. You can't afford to cast all over the place. You've got to really be accurate because they're big fish, they're shy fish, and you've got to have a sort of a gently approach to catch them. But having said that, very often the carp will move in when you've put a few bream together, and then you can go a little bit heavier on the ground bait and also step your gear up to perhaps a method feeder rig, which will cope with the bigger fish that are in there. We're talking about carp from 8 to 20 pound plus, which are possible on more match style orientated gear than you carp guys use.
So you're not a boilie man?
No, I'm not a boilie man, and I don't intend to ever become one.
I noticed that you were using very light tackle when you were fishing, and you also put your rod very low in the water when you were playing the fish. Could you explain what you were doing?
Yes, well, with the bream, we're talking about big bream in 7.5 pound upwards. I find that if you keep the rod low after striking, you can steer the fish out of the shoal without spooking the others, and you only really begin to lift the rod up skywards when the fish comes in close to the bank, because then that's the one place where you're likely to have the fish find a snag. So obviously you're trying to lift it up then. With the carp, I also keep the rod very low when they go charging off, because again, remembering I'm using only 3 pound hook lengths, and that's low diameter line as well, that if you put the rod in the air, the carp tend to run and run and run, and they're very hard to control. But for some reason, if you put the rod low, you can actually start to steer the fish gently in towards you. And again, once they get in close, that's the time you lift the rod and you try and control them and stop them from snagging you on the bottom.
How much ground bait did you use? I noticed you use a very small feeder.
Yeah, I don't use much ground bait at all at Walthamstow. I find that these big fish, you've got to remember they're shy old fish, that they tend to sort of veer away from a lot of ground bait. So you use the absolute minimum to get them interested and to hold them in the swim. I usually start off by casting out a couple of feeder loads first, just to see if anything's there. If I don't get a response, then I'll put some ground bait in, but I'm only talking about half a dozen balls, and not very big sized balls either, tangerine size, laced with casters and chopped worm. I then fish a small open end feeder over the top, again, because I don't want to spook the fish, and these big feeders will definitely spook the fish there.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 bream and two carp. That's not bad for a couple of hours, is it? Filter bed in front of the gatehouse is used primarily by youngsters of all ages and is stocked with all the usual coarse fish, and is an ideal venue for those new to fishing. There are 3 trout lakes on the complex. The number 4, which is an any method water, the number 5, which is fly only, together with the East Warwick, which is restricted to members of the Walthamstow Fly Fishers Club, and details of these waters can be obtained at the gatehouse. Walthamstow Reservoirs is one of the leading heronries in southern England, and bird watchers can enjoy walking around the complex or making use of the 2 bird huts available. I hope you've enjoyed watching this video, and if you already fish the reservoirs, I trust that you will continue to do so. And if you haven't, shame on you, as you could also experience the type of action you've just seen. So why not come along and enjoy some spectacular sport on one of Britain's leading fisheries? Small common. Come on. Small common. Nice little Walthamstow fish. There. I think we'll put you straight back. Off you go. For more details, ring Thames Water Fisheries on 0181 808 1527.